Open Modifieds are back for the 5th time this season for the Lincoln Tech Open 80, and as you can see, the pits are packed. There's a lot of Modifieds here tonight, and we're going to focus our pit preview on the Open Modifieds, where Nicole LaRosa is standing by with the hottest driver in the division.
Woody Pitkat, obviously a favorite to win tonight's Open 80 event, and you know, I know you like to win the Open 80s that are sponsored by liquor companies, but the Lincoln Tech Open 80 tonight, you've got a streak, you won the last 2 here, and how are you feeling about keeping that streak alive here tonight?
Obviously the confidence is really high. You know, this car's been really good. We've only used it at Stafford. It leaves here from Victory Lane and goes and sits in the shop, you know, so I'm looking forward to it. I've had a lot of nice Lincoln Tech trophies throughout my years, but obviously this would be the biggest and nicest one to have. So we're going to try to go out here and see what we got here, you know, in the heat race and get ready for the feature, and hopefully we can three-peat.
Now, the Connecticut racing week here was pretty hectic. I know you're one of a couple drivers that had to race last night at the Thompson Speedway. Luckily for you, you got a win last night, so looking to carry that over to today. How tired are you coming into today?
Well, I actually was okay, and then I went and jacked for a guy in the tour, so my night was a little bit later than it needed to be, but it's all right, you know, it's all good. I got to, you know, I was with Cam, my crew chief, and his driver, Kyle Bonsignor, so we're kind of working together and using each other's feedback. So it was nice to be there and be a part of that, and we'll suck down a Dunkin' refresher here shortly, and we'll be ready to rock and roll tonight.
There you go, Woody Pitkat. A busy last 24 hours in racing, but today he's looking to make it 3 in a row in the Open 80. Now we're going to throw it to Bonza, who's battling a B with DiMatteo.
Well, the last time you saw the 76 on track, won at Waterford, your first Monaco Modified Tri-Track win. Now, since then, how much are you a believer in momentum? How much have you come down from that high point?
Just a next week mentality, you know, just building on week by week, try to build some confidence and build the speed in the car, which this year we had a shortened year a little bit towards the beginning of the year with motor issues, but seem to have cleaned that up and moving forward with it.
So this season you got the win at Waterford. You finished 4th here in your one open race here. What's been the key this season to improving that performance compared to the last few years where your luck wasn't as kind?
I think it has a lot to do with preparation. Corey's switching over to John Hummel's car this year. We've been down one man all year, so it's time for me to step up as maintaining the car with Andrew as the car chief. And it's just really working. It seems to be really synced out. We're down there every night putting in work, and it seems to be showing very well.
76, making themselves known as a contender in the Open Modifieds no matter where they go. We'll see what they can do here tonight. Now we're going to go to Nicole and see who she has in the pits.
Jake Johnson, you may have heard the name as a recent Tri-Track Modified Series winner, and you're brand new to Stafford here today, first time, but let's not forget, you're pretty new to modified racing as well. Obviously grew up racing the Fender divisions, and now you're here in open wheels first couple years, and you already have a win under your belt with the Tri-Track Modified Series. Tonight, an Open 80 main event here at Stafford. What's the game plan for today? I know you're 6th in practice, so good start.
The game plan today is just to go have a smooth day, learn the track, learn the layout of the race, and just try to see what we can do. You know, it's just all learning day, trying to take what we can figure out today and the knowledge we got here for the Tri-Track race coming up later on in September. So just a big learning day for our team.
There you go. And what made you choose this event on your calendar? I know we're a few Open 80s in on the year at Stafford here. You've been running tour races all over the Northeast, but today you're at Stafford. Why is that?
I feel like as a team we went to a lot of tracks that we're familiar with, and we got to learn there the new type of car, and now I think it's time that we can venture out to some new, bigger tracks and try to learn, and the schedule's worked out nicely, and we were able to make it out.
Jake Johnson, a new face here at Stafford, and we're excited to see him branch out today and see what he can do in tonight's Lincoln Tech Open Modified 80 event. Now we're going to throw it to Bonza.
Well, when the Open Modifieds are in town, you always got to keep an eye on this guy, Chase Dowling, who's got a couple Open Mod wins last year, looking for another one today. He's won a Tri-Track race here as well, but you struggled a bit earlier in the season. How have you been able to adjust and get the car better as the year's gone on?
Yeah, we've been fighting. It's been a weird year. Obviously, we had a really good year last year, and it's hard to stay consistent with those years. Obviously, things change and all that, but found some stuff with the car this week, a lot of stuff, and pretty confident going into tonight. Feeling good. Everyone's feeling good around here, this whole team, so hopefully we can get this 9 back in Victory Lane this year. Yeah.
You talked about in the beginning of the season the track conditions. How would you say the track conditions have changed throughout the season?
They changed quite a bit here. You know, sometimes they're spraying the track or whatnot, so gotta stay on top of it for sure. But obviously, you come in with a notebook, you start with that, and just give the car what it needs throughout the day, and hopefully you have something for the race.
Chase Dowling looking for a first win in the Open Modifieds this year here at Stafford. Always got to keep an eye on the 9CT. Now we're going to toss it to Nicole, who's with a driver making his first ever Open Modified start.
One of our most popular drivers here at Stafford Motor Speedway, George Bessette Jr. You may have seen him in the SK Lights, maybe in Victory Lane a couple times this year, but tonight he's going to be in the Open Modified 80 as well. This is your first Open Modified start, and I know this car has been sitting in the shop on jack stands for quite some time, just been looking at it every day, wondering when, but the day has finally come.
Yeah, you know, we bought this car last winter from Richard Savory because he was getting out of racing, and you know, we had a bunch of our sponsors fortunately help us out buying this car, and I'm more than thankful for them to have this opportunity. And you know, we had a goal set to run this race at the beginning of the year, and here we are, and so far so good. I'm 12th fastest right now. Wasn't expecting that at all. Coming off the corner, I feel like I was pushing the gas pedal, but I still had another 4 feet of gas pedal to go. So I got it figured out now, I think. You know, some big guys here and stiff competition, but we'll just take it one lap at a time and do the best we can.
There you go. Like you said, you were 12th out of 31 today. What are some goals that you have set for yourself before you came to the track here today?
I just wanted to get a good solid 80 lap finish in, top 15 if we could, but I think we can get a top 10 if we plan things out and do our pit strategy good and see what happens.
Day's going pretty good so far for George Bessette Jr. We're going to see how he can do tonight in the Open Modified 80 main event. Right now, we're going to get ready for racing and throw it to Bonza up in the booth.
Thank you, Nicole, and welcome everyone to the Stafford Motor Speedway and what has become a beautiful Friday afternoon as we transition to another Friday night under the lights with the Open Modifieds headlining the action with the Lincoln Tech Open 80. Temperatures in the mid-80s. Not many clouds in the sky. It's beautiful. Temperatures will go down to the 70s, so I'm sure it'll feel very pleasant tonight. Bonza Tufa here alongside Dave Barabal. And Dave, the Open Modifieds put on a show every time they come to Stafford, but we have a lot of them here tonight.
Certainly do, Bonza. We look to start 30. There's 32 cars back in the paddock area. The big news late last night breaking that Ryan Preece joins the field with us here tonight, and he has a pretty sturdy task ahead of him. Woody Pitkat, as you had mentioned in some of the pre-race previews, the hottest driver in our Open 80s. But Ryan Preece, way back in April, if our fans forget, a battle with Matt Hirschman, and he came home second.
Yeah, the first of 4 open mod races we've had this season. Matt Hirschman won the Spring Sizzler. The Call Before You Dig 81 was won by Ronnie Williams, and Woody Pitkat, as you mentioned, on a roll, taking the last 2 open mod races. And by the way, before that, a second place, and he was up front during the Spring Sizzler until issues at the end of the race ended his night early. So 30 modifieds, and Dave, it's really hard to pick a favorite because there's so many good cars out there.
Well, who do you choose? You know, you
Yeah.
can't. There's probably 15 sturdy entries, and there can always be a dark horse that we don't know about that all of a sudden makes a run. Dana DiMatteo is in the field tonight. A couple of weeks ago at the Speed Bowl, that car finally held together for him, and he was able to pull off his first Monaco Tri-Track win. Is tonight the night for Dana DiMatteo? We don't know. This is not a script.
No,
there
it's not.
is no script for the 80 laps that's going to perform before us in a few moments. We don't know. Yeah, we have the regulars, but there's somebody that could be a star tonight.
You mentioned Monaco Modified Tri-Track winners. Dana DiMatteo, new one. Jake Johnson won at Star Speedway. He's making his debut at Stafford this year. We've seen Teddy Hodgen do a lot more open races this year, and he's been pretty solid as well. The fun part, I think, is that you got the hometown drivers like Teddy Hodgen, like Ronnie Williams, Woody Pitkat, and you got the outsiders, the invaders like Eric Goodale and such, you know, Chris Pastriak, Jeff Gallup, these guys who don't race Stafford weekly, but they're very much a contender in this race.
Oh, you know what? A name, and we should be shot for forgetting this. How about Keith Rocco?
Of course, yes.
We've kind of forgotten it. In the SKs, he's won 2 of our last 4, a podium finish.
Yep.
And he's, you know, you would say he's somewhat out of the points picture, but now I think he's gunning for wins.
Yeah.
To end the season. And that changeover from the car that they originally started the season with to what they have now, and he's looking to carry that into the Open Modified race. certainly, what, a tie for wins with Tom Fern lasted all of about an hour.
Yes,
last
exactly.
week.
And he's only 2 wins away from tying Woody Pitkat for second on the all-time wins list. Mentioned Keith Rocco, a different car tonight, 46 car. We've seen that 46 out there a couple times in the last couple years with Craig Lutz driving the car. Jeff Rocco drove that car at Waterford for the Monaco Modified Tri-Track race, finishing the top 10 with it. And I think Rocco is more dangerous than ever because he has nothing to lose in the SK Modified points. He doesn't have to worry about big picture. I don't think he ever really has. He's always talked about going for wins. But now more than ever, the points no longer matter for him. He's outside the top 10. It's all about getting that checkered flag and winning 2 of the last 4. He's going to be one to watch. And if he's going to keep rolling like this, the SK Modified field better watch out for Kid Rock. But we mentioned the SK Modifieds. Todd Owen, what can you say about him except just he keeps staying consistent?
Well, I think that started, if we're going to go back a few seasons, look over where that Eagle fence and guardrail sign is. And Todd was involved in a late race incident.
Yep.
And it cost him a championship where he was in a flat-footed tie with Ronnie Williams, and Ronnie Williams won the championship based on wins. I really think since that point, probably the most consistent driver at Stafford has been Todd Owen. He never seems to get involved in mayhem that knocks him out, and he keeps his mind focused on the big picture, which is that big championship trophy at the end. That's what's done it for Todd Owen. Has maybe not racked off the wins, but constantly we call it Todd Owen doing Todd Owen things.
Yep.
And that is all of a sudden might be 10th. Then all of a sudden it's 8th. Then it's 6th, 4th, and then maybe a podium. That's what Todd Owen does.
Tenacious Todd trying to get back-to-back championships. A 92-point lead. Dave, if you were in his position, how easy would you take it from here on out, or is it still just a matter of doing well? Because 92 points, you can have 1 mulligan. You might be able to have 2.
Well, I heard you say that, but I don't think you ever take it easy.
Right.
I think, you know, obviously you do look at the big picture and where you're not going to put that Cooker Construction 81 in harm's way. You want it to roll across the start-finish line at the end of 40 laps. If the win presents itself, yeah, you're going to go for it. He's a race driver.
Yeah.
But I think that every race and we are down to what, the final 7 or so,
Hard
7 or 8.
to believe, yeah.
And the season has flown by. I think every race you're going to see Todd Owen challenging for the win, but if the car is not there, if the car is not right, he's going to take what the car gives him.
Now, Todd Owen's worst finish this year is 11th. The last 2 seasons, he's only had 1 finish outside the top 11. The last 2 years, and that was the championship finale last year when he had already clinched the SK Modified title, so in the big picture, it didn't really matter. There's a lot to say about 81 and the whole Chassis Pro team. I mean, David Aruta's come alive. He's got 3 wins this year, and now we're seeing Anthony Flannery come alive as well in the 34. But now it's time for the Open Modifieds. The 4 heat races, over 30 cars, and in this one, we have a total of 8. And the top 4 transfer in the handicap system, and we'll explain the handicap in a moment. But first of all, starting on the pin for this first heat, driving the 15 MA, he is from Rehoboth, Massachusetts. Lynn's Propane Tanks brings you Jake Johnson.
Going to work outside of him in the Fowler's Auto Wrecking, number 25, out of East Hampton, Connecticut, it will be Anthony Flannery.
Next up in third, driving the number 89 from Harvard, Massachusetts, Saravallo's Autos and All Faces Renovations brings us Matt Swanson.
Coming off a second place finish last night at Thompson in the GAF Roofing, number 58, Riverhead, New York presents Eric Goodale.
Starting in the 5th spot, driving car number 77 from Berlin, Connecticut, Central Connecticut Auto brings Matt Gallo.
In the Ferndale Construction, number 52, Lebanon, Connecticut's Mark Buckeye.
Starting in the 7th spot, in the 55 CT from Danbury, Connecticut, Montanary Fuel brings us the former SK Light Modified champion, Teddy Hodgson.
And starting scratch on the field, and he could be one of the dark horses. It's the number 19, belonging to Anthony Bello in the Nico Systems Avenue Auto sponsored entry.
Anthony Bello, SK Modified winner this year, had a pretty good showing at North Wilkesboro a couple weeks ago with a couple finishes just outside the top 10 as the field gets the 1 to go for the first of 4 Open Modified heats. And the way the starting lineup will be decided, top 4 from each heat will be put in the handicap, and it's basically a combination of where you finished the heat race and how many positions you gained or lost from your starting spot. So if you start in the back, let's say Bello starts in 8th, makes his way up to 2nd, I have to say that's pretty promising for your starting lineup in the 80-lap main event. Pace car pulls off, Jake Johnson, Anthony Flannery, the front row, as the field comes down to take the first green flag of the night. Jake Johnson with a bit of a jump, but Flannery really gets it going as they shift gears into turn number 1.
So Flannery trying to powerbomb his way on the outside in the 25. They'll go side by side down the backstretch. Small advantage for Johnson as the first time tonight they fling themselves into turn number 3.
8 cars, 4 rows of 2. Jake Johnson slides up the track a little bit, trying to clear Flannery off of turn 4 and barely does so. Jake Johnson leads lap number 1. Flannery flies in the second. A little bit of tire lockup, possible from Eric Goodale. The top 3 stay single file.
So Flannery will fall in behind Johnson. Behind them it is Swanson. And then we have Goodale making up our top 4. Buckeye runs outside of that hit, capping spot 5th. A challenge for the lead almost, Bonta, as Flannery tried to sneak under Johnson.
That 25 is right on the back bumper of Jake Johnson. It's a 10-lap heat race. We're on lap 2 right now. Flannery does not get him to turn 2 well at all. Matt Swanson takes a peek to the inside. May have a shot here. We'll see coming off of turn 4. Swanson right in that apron, trying to de-wedge that car and get good traction off of 4.
Flannery closes the door. They freight train their way into turn number 1. Our leader is Jake Johnson, has grabbed it from the backstretch of lap number 1 and is pulling away as they go into 3.
Eric Goodale has the final transfer spot. Back in 6th spot, Teddy Hodgson takes a look underneath Matt Gallo. They made a little bit of contact off the 4. They're still side by side, but they both have a little work to do if they want to get to that transfer spot up front. It's still about a car length between Johnson and Flannery.
And we'll fall back to that final transfer spot. Goodale pulling away from Buckeye, trying to make a move underneath Gallo is the 55 of Hodgson, and we will get the halfway point. This one's halfway in the books as Johnson crosses the stripe.
5 down, 5 to go. Car 55 still trying to get under the 77 of Gallo. Hodgson's had some really good runs in the open modifieds this season across different tracks up and down New England. He finally clears Gallo for that 6th spot. Now sets his sights on Mark Buckeye for fifth. Got a little close there. There's not much room to spare with these open wheel tires, and Hodgson still trying to take that 5th spot.
Hodgson continuing to attack underneath Buckeye as they go off turn 2. Behind them it is Gallo trying to make a move. He'll try to sling his way underneath Buckeye as they come off the corner. Your leader is Jake Johnson.
Hodgson still making progress, but he's got ways to go to get up to 4th spot, which is Eric Goodale. He's trying to take a look on Matt Swanson. Bumper to bumper between 1st and 2nd. Bumper to bumper between 3rd and 4th. Right now, Johnson looking good in his first start at Stafford.
They'll come off the corner this time by and get the popsicle sticks down to the final 2. So Flannery trying to close in a slide as he came off turn number 4. Loses some time and space. Jake Johnson leads the charge down into 1.
Trying to put the gas down on 600 plus horsepower, and sometimes the rear tires are begging for mercy when that happens. Right now, it's still a car between Johnson and Flannery. Goodale right behind Swanson. I don't know if Goodale's going to push him with the white flag out. He's got the final spot in the transfer.
Well, Bonta, he may try that push and try to pick up another spot, which will help him in the handicapping. All over the back bumper of Swanson. The charge is on by Goodale. Can he make it in the final 2 turns?
Final 2 turns, as you mentioned. Goodale looks to the inside, backs off a bit. Swanson slides up. Goodale's going to give it a shot. The checkered flag is out for Jake Johnson. He'll take the first heat. Anthony Flannery 2nd. Matt Swanson 3rd. Eric Goodale gets the final transfer spot in 4th, and Teddy Hodgson rounds out the top 5.
And then it'll be Matt Gallo in the 77 6th. Mark Buckeye comes home 7th, and Anthony Bello will round out our field.
Now we get ready for the 2nd heat. I tell you what, that's a good showing from Jake Johnson. His first time ever at Stafford. Seems like he's been doing this for a while.
Like a hand in a glove, he hit on that one. So we'll get ready for our 2nd qualifying event. And once the cars roll out onto the track, we will give you the starting lineup. We're certainly glad everyone coming out here to join us on Lincoln Tech Open 80 Modified Night. And while that's the star of the show, Bonta, we have a full night of racing planned.
Oh yeah, 6 divisions, 6 features, and the Open Modified, a big field of about 30 cars ready to put on a show at the end of the night. We get ready with our 2nd heat, and we talked about him many times already, Dave. The hottest driver in the Open Modifieds at Stafford starts on the pin, driving car number 88 from Bellingham, Massachusetts. Dunleavy's Truck and Trailer Repair brings us the Sultan of Stafford, Woody Pitkat.
S&S Asphalt Paving presents the number 9. It is Chase Dowling out of Bethlehem, Connecticut.
Next up in 3rd spot is the number 5 CT from Moose of Connecticut. Dolly's Collision and Custom brings us a 2-time winner in the MRS, Chris Pastriak.
Behind the wheel of the Ceravolo Auto number 4 from Agawam, it's Jeff Gallup.
Starting in 5th from Woodstock, Connecticut, Polar Beverages brings us Buddy Charette.
The 4 New Hampshire will grid next. The Extreme Auto Body and Collision Center LLC entry. It is Tommy Barrett Jr. from Millis, Massachusetts.
In the 7th spot, 11 CT brings us a driver from Monroe, Connecticut. Ram Motorsports sponsoring Dylan Izzo.
And in the Glastonbury Cleaning number 55B, it's Glastonbury, Connecticut's Robert Bloxham III.
There's your 8 cars for heat number 2. Again, top 4 will transfer to the handicap. We want to mention, by the way, the Lincoln Tech tent behind the turn 4 stands. The first 400 people over there will get a rally towel for free. So the first 400 at the Lincoln Tech tent will get a rally towel for free. It is right behind the turn 4 stands. As we're half a lap away from beginning heat 2, you got 2 of the hot shots in the open mods, Dave. Woody Pitkat and Chase Dowling.
Well, you got, and they're going to lead them to green. So I'm expecting a battle for the full race. They roll off turn number 4. We get ready. Chris Cabato flings the green flag out of his right hand, and we're underway. On the outside, it is Chase Dowling trying to get a bite and a run, but the leverage belongs to Woody Pitkat as he has the lead down the backstretch.
Pitkat rode the apron throughout turns 1 and 2 and got a lot of grip from it. He excels at car length ahead of Chase Dowling. In 3rd spot, Pastriak and Gallup, nerf bar to nerf bar. They got really close to making a little contact, but they're still dead even at the stripe.
So they stay even as they go down into turn number 1. Pastriak trying to can opener his way underneath and grab the 3rd spot. And here comes a charge behind them. Tommy Barrett slingshots his way under Gallup as they go down into turn number 3.
Gallup shuts the door. It's 4 versus 4. Gallup versus Tommy Barrett for the 4th and final transfer spot. Barrett took a look. He needs a change of luck. He hasn't had much in terms of the open modifieds, having good performances. Maybe this could be his night, but he lost a couple car lanes to that 4 Gallup.
And at the front of the field, winding it up, it is Woody Pitkat. About a 2-car length advantage over Chase Dowling, where we sit about another 3 back to Pastriak. The battle continues between the 4s. Trying to work the outside and get some leverage was Tommy Barrett. Pulling away is Jeff Gallup.
Tommy Barrett has a little bit of pressure from behind as well from Dylan Izzo. We saw Izzo on the podium a couple open races ago, so we know what that Levin Gomez car has in store at this half-mile track. 4 down, 6 to go, and the 55 Robert Bloxham Jr. has gone up in smoke off of turn 4. He gets the black flag and pulls off into the pits. The top 3 still single file, evenly spaced apart.
So we'll see if Dowling can move in the number 9. He finished a 3rd place run a couple of weeks ago in our open modified 80 race. And he has the pressure put on him now by Chris Pastriak as the blue 5 comes into the picture, and we have a yellow.
Yeah, the caution is out. Not sure if it might be because of the 55 Robert Bloxham. He was smoking heavily in turns 3 and 4. And there is oil in 3 and 4, so that'll put this second heat race on hold for a bit, but no surprise, Dave. Woody Pitkat showing a lot of speed early on. Chase Dowling not able to keep up with that 9 car, but there's a reason why that 88 Dunleavy's car is the favorite as you look at Robert Bloxham. A lot of smoke coming out of that 55 machine. We see Bloxham a lot in these open mod events. He's been here the last couple of seasons. A family racing team, just not having the luck that they need. But we mentioned Woody Pitkat, just stout all year. It's like he's reinvigorated. I mean, he's been so excited this year with his brand new car, working with the team of Dunleavy and Cam McDermott, and their excitement is showing on the track.
And they have their game faces on, and they know what they're doing out there. And Woody's authored so many wins here at Stafford, so he knows his way around, and it was just a perfect mesh of that entire team, and he's been very strong in our open races.
Woody with 80 wins all time here at Stafford. That is second most. Trying to make it 81. He's won the last 2 open races. He's won 3 open modified races overall. Can't forget in 2020 Twisted Tea Open 80, a great battle with Eric Goodale on the final laps. And, well, we'll see if Woody can make it 3 in a row. No driver has won 3 consecutive open modified races at Stafford, and he has 3 all-time. He's tied with Ronnie Williams for the most open mod wins at Stafford, trying to set himself alone with 4 at the end of the night. 1 to go signal is out. The field will double up. We are 6 laps in. We've got 4 more to go in this heat race. Woody Pitkat showing a lot of strength. Chase Dowling holding his own a second, but Chris Pastriak in 3rd. He was given a bit of a shot there to Chase Dowling. He might have something. We've seen Pastriak show signs of hope at Stafford in the last few years in the open modified. He's had the speed. He was really fast earlier this season, but got caught up in an accident with Ronnie Williams and Ronnie Silk in the final laps when those 2 tangled for the lead. Pastriak was an innocent victim of that situation, but he had a top 10 car that whole entire night. We've seen Pastriak in the 5, we've seen him in the 75 this year. We'll see what he can do in the final 4 laps, 5 laps of this heat race as the final transfer spot right now is held by Jeff Gallop in the 4MA.
So we're back to the green and the drag race down into turn number 1. We'll see what happens with Dowling. And once again, just like the start, Bonsa, it is Woody Pitkat who's able to wrestle his way to the lead as they go down the backstretch.
Get that car rolling to the bottom of the way the 88 is. It's a matter of can you keep that going when we head to the nighttime with the 80-lap race. Pastriak has a little bit of pressure from behind by Jeff Gallop. They're side-by-side for 5th, the 4 of Tommy Barrett, and the 11 of Dylan Izzo.
Now, Izzo had a great run the last time we were here, finishing 3rd in that 11 machine. He's to the outside of Barrett, challenging for the 5th spot. That's the best battle on the track. Can he stay on the outside and grab 4th away from Gallop?
We'll see how the track outside line recently modified the track being sprayed not that long ago. Right now, it's working pretty good for Gallop. He's still holding that 4th spot on the outside of Tommy Barrett with 2 laps to go when they come back to town.
So Barrett now puts the full court press. Will try to slither his way by the 4 of Gallop. We're going to hit the 2 laps to go as they get twirling 2s across the line. And it is the 4 of Barrett now sitting in 4th.
Gallop's car looks a little bit loose coming off of turn 4, and he lost a lot of ground right there in the middle of 1 and 2. That'll give Dylan Izzo a chance to take that 5th spot. Remember, the top 4 transfer into the handicap for the 80-lap feature. White flag is out. Woody Pitkat leads by about a couple car lengths over Chase Dowling.
So the top 3 hum their way down the backstretch. Your leader from the drop of the green flag and on the restart has been Woody Pitkat. Pulling away from the 9 of Chase Dowling. Pitkat trying to make an opening statement. He will do so in our second qualifying event. He will take the win. Dowling coming home 2nd. Then it is Pastriak 3rd, and Tommy Barrett making up the top 4.
Jeff Gallop, Dylan Izzo, Buddy Charette, and Robert Bloxham III round out the 8-car heat. That's our 2nd heat of the night. 2 more to go in these open modifieds, and we talked about some big names. You got a couple coming up in this heat, and guys like Mike Christopher Jr. and Todd Owen, but you got some young guys as well, like Tyler Berry and George Bessette Jr. That's what I like in these open modifieds. You got the mix of the veterans and the mix of the young guns.
And you're going to see what the young guns can do. George Bessette making his debut in the open modifieds tonight here with us. Coming off a couple of strong SK Light performances, and tonight we're going to get to see what he can do behind the wheel of a full powered modified.
He's got a lot of momentum from the SK Lights. He's won 2 of the last 3 features. He is hot right now in that division. 3rd heat coming up for the open mods, and we start off with the 21 car, a 4th generation driver in the Berry family. It is a driver from Griswold, Connecticut. Sponsored by Extreme Auto Body and Collision Center, it's Tyler Berry.
The Baldwin Motorsports 7NY will grid next. Out of Wolcott, Connecticut, it's Mike Christopher Jr.
Starting in 3rd, the Cooker Construction 81 from Somers, Connecticut. Defending SK Modified champion and current SK point leader, Todd Owen.
Coming to us from Red Bank, New Jersey, in the Martino Race Engines number 9NY, it's Tom Martino Jr.
Starting in the 5th spot, the old Wade Cole machine, the 33 CT from Somers, Connecticut. A&D Portable Rentals brings us Austin Bessette.
The winner last night at Thompson, it is the 00. James Page Plumbing and Heating brings us Craig Lutz from Middle Island, New York.
Starting in 7th, we mentioned him just a moment ago, the 39 car from Danbury, Connecticut, sponsored by Lasco Roofing and Sheet Metal, George Bessette Jr.
Out of Moodus, Connecticut, in the Koopman Lumber number 6, it'll be Matt Galco.
And Matt Galco has been really fast this year in the Stan Mertz machine. He had a chance at winning the Sizzler, didn't quite work out, but he's been a consistent top 5, top 10 car. Let's see what he can do. We talked about the handicap, a combination of finishing position, a combination of how many spots you make up. Galco starting in 8th. This might be a chance for him to get all the way up to the front and get a really good starting position in the feature.
So that will be the picture of what we're looking for, to see if he can make the run, pick up the most handicapping spots he can get, and he could be starting it down the pole.
At the back of the field, you might have saw it on the right side of your screen. That's not an open modified, that's David Arute. He had an issue in practice in the 75 SK, smoking very badly. They're working on the car. Hopefully they got it fixed for the feature. But the pace car pulls off. Tyler Berry, Mike Christopher Jr., 21, 7NY lead the field with the green flag.
So it is Christopher on the outside in the 7NY, the Baldwin-sponsored entry. The early lead, but it is Tyler Berry looking to pull away as they go down the backstretch. A tap to the back bumper by Christopher. He's going to try to slingshot his way in turn 3.
Christopher drove it in deep. Berry drove it just as deep as the 7NY, but Christopher gets to the corner a little bit better, leads the first lap by about a full car length, and Todd Owen follows suit right behind the 7NY, trying to take 2nd from Berry.
So we'll see if Berry gets locked out on the inside, or does he have something for Owen. Owen trying to put the Cooker Construction 81 into the 2nd spot. Battle on for 4th. Here comes comes Craig Lutz as he'll try to work his way underneath the 9 as they go down into 1.
Martino got wide off of 4. I don't know if he got the wall there, but he keeps on going. A little bit of a close call, but all is good with that 9 car.
And also, as we mentioned, working his way through. He sits 5th right now.
Yep.
That is the 6th machine belonging to Matt Galco. Can he make it into the transfer spot? He's going to have quite a battle on his hands with the Jimmy Page 0-0 of Craig Lutz.
Last time we saw that 0-0 with Lutz in, it was at Waterford. Didn't even make the feature. So the 0-0 looking to change their fortune this time around. Lutz has the momentum. He won the Thompson Modified Tour race last night, so we'll see if it continues on for the driver that won the fall final here at Stafford back in 2019. But he's got pressure from Galco.
So we saw a little bit of a move by Galco as they came off turn number 4. Galco tries it again. Can he get a run as they go down into 3? The top 2 have pulled away. Mike Christopher and the 81 of Todd Owen, as this one's halfway in the books.
5 down, 5 to go. Bumper to bumper for that final transfer spot in the handicap. Craig Lutz in the 0-0. Matt Galco in the 6. Up front, though, Todd Owen has reeled in the 7NY of Mike Christopher Jr. Doesn't take a look to the inside for the lead, but that 81's looking really good.
It certainly is, and Christopher was able to pull away. And also at the back now, the 6 has made it into that transfer position. So Matt Galco is running 4th, came all the way from the back of the pack. We're going to see how that plays out a little bit later on in the handicapping.
Yeah, nice move in turn 3 by the 6 to get past Lutz. So Lutz outside the transfer spot. Galco may not be done yet, though. He's got the 21 right in front of him, and it looks like that 6 car is very poised to make the pass for 3rd.
So Galco trying to reel in a 3rd place finish as he goes off turn number 2. Went up a little high, tried to get a run on the banking. In turn number 3, a tap to the back bumper, letting Tyler Barry know he's there. We're down to the final 2 laps.
Tyler Barry's doing a good job, though, in that 3rd spot, holding his own. He didn't have much luck in that car the last time it was out at Waterford. He was involved in a wrecking heat race, trying to turn that luck around and learn more about these open modifieds, which he doesn't have much experience in, but he's got Galco right on his tail as they come down to the white flag.
So they'll come off turn number 4. They'll see the white flag from Chris Robato. The question is everybody happy where they are right now, Bonta? A little separation from 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Probably everybody right now knows that they are in the race. They're in the top 4.
You can never be happy unless you're out in front. And even then, Mike Christopher Jr. may not be fully satisfied with that car, but a good showing for the 7NY as he comes off of 4. He holds off Todd Owen to take the 3rd heat for the open modifieds. Owen 2nd. Tyler Barry, good job for him in 3rd. Matt Galco 4th. And Craig Lutz, the first car out of the handicap, finishes 5th. George Bessette Jr. will finish in the 6th spot. Tom Martino had a couple of close calls, 1 in turn 4 and 1 in turn 2. He'll finish in 7th. And Austin Bessette rounds out the 8-car field. So 3 heats down, 1 more to go. We'll remind you that the Lincoln Tech tent is behind the turn 4 stands. If you go there, the first 400 over there will get a free rally towel for tonight. So the first 400 people at the Lincoln Tech tent will get a free rally towel from Lincoln Tech. As you look at the field making their way down pit road, they'll make the right turn through the gate in turn 1 and see what adjustments they have to make to prepare for the main event tonight. 1 more heat to go, and it's a pretty stout heat. We mentioned Keith Rocco, he's in this one. We've seen a couple drivers who raced at Thompson, the tour race last night. They're making an appearance as the field rolls out of the gate in turn 3. We start with the driver of the number 1. It's the first time I think I've seen this driver driving that car, the Ted Anderson car, sponsored by Superior Refinishing. Say that 5 times fast. It is the driver J.B. Fortin.
Coming to us from Berlin, Connecticut, we certainly know this name, piloting the 46. It's Kid Rock, Keith Rocco.
Starting in 3rd, a driver that's been on a roll no matter where he goes. He's scored top 5s and top 10s from Claremont to Waterford. Driving the number 20 from Oakdale, Connecticut, Lumax Package Store gives us Max Zacco.
Casa Grande Builders and Inox Supreme Lubricants brings us all the way from Dawsonville, Georgia. It'll be the 29 of Spencer Davis.
Starting in 5th, a 2-time SK Modified champion and an open winner this year from Ellington, Connecticut. Empower Financial Advisory gives us Ronnie Williams.
In the Island Cove Marina, number 76, it'll be Farmington, Connecticut's Dana DiMatteo.
And a last-minute entry to the field, starting in the 7th spot, driving car number 40 from Berlin, Connecticut. 811 call before you dig, and Hunt Brothers Pizza brings us Ryan Priest.
So that is our field getting ready to assemble for 10 laps, our final qualifying event for the Lincoln Tech Open 80. And then once this concludes, we'll have our opening ceremonies and go directly to feature event racing.
Field gets the 1 to go, and they're laying way back behind the base car. They're telling him, hey, get closer to the pace car, get closer. So we're getting ready for the final heat, a stacked field. I mean, you have, what, 12 to 15 drivers off the top of your head that you can name to have a chance at winning this race tonight. The open modifieds, the competition is so stout. You got some of the best drivers up and down New England. You even got a driver from Dawsonville, Georgia, and Spencer Davis making his way back to Connecticut from Thompson last night in the Tour to Stafford here tonight. We'll see what that 29 can do, because he's had some good speed in the last few weeks wherever he's raced.
Now he's going to tackle the half mile as the field chugs its way off turn number 4. Getting ready for the right hand to fling the green flag. We're underway. The race down in turn number 1 right now is won by the number 1 of Patrick Emmerling.
What a great run on the outside, though, by the 46 of Keith Rocco. He pulls even and actually pulls a half a car length ahead of J.B. Ford to turn 3. Look how deep the 46 goes. He slides up a little bit up into the third group, but keeps his momentum to lead lap 1.
So Rocco in the Monaco Ford 46 trying to power his way the far way around the Stafford Speedway asphalt, grabs the lead, pulls away as they go down the backstretch. Here comes Max Zackham. He's on the attack underneath Emmerling in turn number 3.
Zackham trying to make the pass on Ford for second spot. They're 2x2 off the corner. Ronnie Williams looking to follow that 20 car. He moves up to third. Fortin is falling back quick. He's outside the top 4.
Yeah, and they are stacked up. It is in the fourth spot is Fortin. And here comes Dana DiMatteo. He's going to try to drop kick Emmerling deeper in the field as they come off turn number 4 and race to the line.
Yeah, got a little close off turn 2. They were 3 wide. Spencer Davis wisely backed out of it. But how about Max Zackham looking to the inside of Keith Rocco for the lead, while Ryan Priest looks to the inside of Ronnie Williams for third. We might have a 2x2 battle here in the top 4.
The Lumax Package Store 20 on the move. It is a door-handle to door-handle battle between he and Rocco for the lead. At the line by inches, it's Max Zackham leading him into turn 1.
Can Ronnie Williams follow suit in that 50 car and take second spot away from Rocco? We've seen Williams and Rocco have a lot of battles over the last few years. The battle for that second position, the 50 car trying to get the edge on the 46. Zackham is not pulling away, though, even though the top 2 or the second place battle is still side by side.
And Rocco may be locked out on the outside. They almost went 3 wide. Here comes Priest sticking the 40's nose into the action as he'll try to battle with Ronnie Williams. Priest falls back a bit, tries again. Williams slides up the track as they come off turn number 4, and perhaps a problem with the 50.
It was a great save, though, by Williams. Priest sent it in deep. I don't know if they made contact or if Williams got a little bit sideways or reacted to Priest's move. Priest from 7th up to 2nd and sets his sights on the 20 of Zackham as they cross the stripe next time around. There'll be 3 laps to go.
And the battle is really going to be Monza for that transfer spot. 2 guys we know pretty well here at Stafford.
Yes.
Keith Rocco on the outside, Ronnie Williams on the inside. Williams trying to get a window of opportunity to grab the spot. They're side by side as they head under the Flow Racing sign.
Williams lost a lot of ground at that moment in turn 3, but he's got a fast car and he's showing it, making his way under Keith Rocco to take the 4th and final transfer spot. 2 laps to go. It's still Zackham out front, actually bowling away from Priest.
So this could be one of those surprises that we talked about earlier. Max Zackham, we know how well he can do, but it really wasn't on the radar. This puts him firmly on the radar with a pretty big heat race win in our 4th qualifying event. Just 4 more turns for him to pull it off.
Zackham leads by about a half a second over Priest. The tightest battle right now is for 3rd. Ronnie Williams going in high, trying to come out of the turn low and get a run on the 76 of Dana DiMatteo. He might run out of time, though, but he has the final transfer spot in the handicap as Max Zackham comes off of turn 4. What a good showing for that 20 team. They take the 4th and final heat race with Ryan Priest finishing 2nd, Dana DiMatteo 3rd, Ronnie Williams 4th, and Keith Rocco rounding out the top 5.
So that should certainly set up an exciting night later on when we go racing. So our qualifying has concluded. We'll be getting ready to throw downstairs in our video, and pretty soon we'll be having our pre-race video getting out on the scoreboard for all of us.
Yeah, so we asked you to take a look at the big screen as we prepare for feature action. Let's look at the main storylines across our 5 weekly divisions and the open modifieds. It was a full moon last Friday night, but it didn't quite translate to chaos on the track. The SK Modifieds went green to checker, with Kid Rock, Keith Rocco finding his groove after earning his 2nd win in the last 4 races. Todd Owen was the only point contender that didn't struggle, giving him a 92-point lead in the standings. The all-time winningest late model driver goes back-to-back as Tom Firm pulled away from the field again for his third victory of the year, cutting Adam Gray's point lead to 22. The hottest driver in the SK Line Modifieds is George Bessette Jr. The Mad Pup held off his buddy Nick Anglaise for his third win in the last 7 races. Meanwhile, point leaders Tyler Berry and Tyler Chapman crashed within a lap of each other, while Alex Pearl and Amanda West scored top 6 finishes. And thus, those 4 drivers are separated by just 28 points in the standings. After 3 runner-up finishes, Kevin Cormier finally became a Stafford Speedway winner, taking the limited late model feature. Rich Hammond got the best of Jeremy Lavoie on the last lap, expanding Hammond's point lead to 12. And Bobby Sturck III finds victory lane for the 4th time this year. But can he keep that performance up on a weekly basis? And can Travis Hydar continue to increase his championship lead after Burt Roulette's spin gave Hydar a 50-point advantage? And can anybody stop Woody Pitkat from earning his 3rd consecutive Open Modified win? It's a feat no driver has accomplished. Could the Sultan of Stafford become the first? We'll find out. It's time to go racing. The Open Modifieds are back to headline the night with the Lincoln Tech Open 80 at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise. Earlier this week, the modified community lost a pillar and a great name in racing, Art Berry. He was a 2-time Whelen Modified Tour champion. For 7 decades, he campaigned race cars here in the Northeast and was a Spring Sizzler winner. Some of the drivers that drove for him: Brett Bodine, Mike McLaughlin, Jeff and Rick Fuller, Mike Stefanik, and Reggie Ruggiero. We ask at this time that you please join us for a moment of silence as we honor the memory of Art Berry. Thank you.
Please remain standing, race fans. Welcome to the Stafford Motor Speedway for another big Friday night of stock car auto racing. Before we get things fired off, we are going to pay tribute to this great nation of ours. And here to sing tonight's national anthem, Renee Fairquist.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
on Connecticut roadways. Designate a sober driver. Buckle up, slow down. We want you to arrive alive. Enjoy the races responsibly.
We would like to thank our limited late model contingency partners. Riley Generators will award a $100 bonus to our race winner. The second place finisher will receive $75 from Rad Auto Machine, while the third place finisher will earn $75 from Speedway Meadows Driving Range. New England Race Fuel Sunoco will award $25 gas certificates to the top 3 finishers and the highest finishing rookie. Rad Auto Machine is also sponsoring this year's season-long Rookie of the Year bonus to the top limited late model rookie driver at season's end.
What a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Well done, the crowd. What a great crowd we have tonight as they're ready for some open modified action as they give a little ovation to our singer, which is just, it gives you chills, Dave, when a rendition like that it's incredible.
It certainly does, and it sparks the night. Fonse, it really does, and she did an excellent job.
You're looking at the points right there after 15 races in the limited late models. It's pretty tight between Rich Hammond and Jeremy Lavoie. Just 12 points separate those two, and we have a tie for third in the standings with Alexandra Fern and Devin Jensick as the limited late models pull out. Feature number 1 of the night, and starting on the pin from Canton, Connecticut, Genco Construction, number 17, Ari Jensick.
And going to work outside of Ari, it'll be the number 95 from Weathersfield. It is Jay Clement.
Starting in the third spot, number 87 from Wellington, Connecticut, or I should say number 83 from Wellington, Connecticut, Casa Grande's Builders, and Napa Tallinn gives us Damian Pilardi.
Starting fourth on our field, it'll be the 23 from Canton, Connecticut. It is Devin Jensick.
In the fifth spot, a guy who needs some good luck coming his way from Weathersfield, Connecticut, Clement Motorsports number 59, driven by Matt Clement.
Dazed Cannabis presents the number 22 from New